All right, so here we go. This is lesson 16 out of 25 on growth mindset. We're following the framework by a guy named Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory. He has like 25 beliefs what he thinks are necessary for growth mindset. And so we're kind of going through each one, creating a small little lesson about them. This is number 16. Number 15, last time we talked about, we said any obstacle can be overcome. We talked about having the right belief on that it is true that almost any obstacle can be overcome if you put the right effort towards it and have the right mindset about it. And so now we're looking on number 16, building your self-esteem around being. Now think about this. How hard is it for you to say you're wrong? I'm not sure that's hard for you, especially if you're in an argument with somebody. Have you ever been in an argument with somebody and you're arguing and you realize, yeah, I really did mess up, but I'm not going to say I'm sorry? I'm not sure that's ever been you. If you get married, I guarantee that's going to be you. If you're in a relationship, that's going to be you. You know, you'll be in an argument with somebody about something and you still want to say you're wrong. You just don't want to say you're wrong. And the reason you don't want to say you're wrong kind of ties in with this here, is that most of our self-esteem, who we think we are, how worthy we are, is built around this idea that we need to be right. Can you be wrong once, twice? Can you be wrong 100 times and still have good self-esteem? Depends what you build your self-esteem around. Most people build it around the idea that in order for them to have a good self-esteem, or they have to be right in order to feel good about themselves. If you fall into that trap, as it says here, you're going to make some poor decisions, because you could be making decisions not upon what is best, not upon what is right, but you're going to make decisions based upon what doesn't hurt your feelings. And that's some poor decision making going on. So number 16, building your self-esteem around being right all the time will lead to poor decision making. I can tell 2 stories from my personal life about this, and it's true. It really is true. When my wife and I first got married, we have 3 kids currently. When we first got married, we talked about how we're going to raise our kids. And you can have all the talks you want to in the world about how you got to raise your kids, but until you're actually raising kids, that you really see what you believe in. And she came from a different childhood than I had. I remember she always had the talks about her childhood where they would sit around the table and have dinner together. And I said, well, we kind of sat around the table a little bit, kind of, sort of. We sat around the coffee table and watched TV together. All right? She goes, no, you can't do that. She says, the best thing for a family is to sit around and a dining room table so they could talk about their day, you know, share experiences with the kids and vice versa. Like, that sounds kind of boring to me. All right, I'd rather just watch TV. That's how I did it. I remember we sit there and watch the TV. A lot of times we didn't actually sit at dinner table. My mom and dad were doing something else, and I would sit there and watch the TV. I thought that's what I like. That's how I think I work good for me, so it's got to work good for our kids. And for a while there, I was real stubborn about it. I was. Because it was my way. I thought my way was the best. As we started to grow in a relationship and started having kids, we started doing it more her way. And I can honestly tell you, it took me a while to come around. And I wish it would have came around sooner. It took me a while to admit that I was wrong about this. And she was 100% right. Almost every night now, we'll sit around the dinner table and the kids will share their days. Now I can tell you, sometimes they don't want to share anything. I mean, come on, if you were at a dinner room, with your parents, you know how this goes. Parents ask you a question, hey, how was your day? And your answer is going to be what? Good. That's it, right? Well, what happened in classes? Nothing, right? So it's hard to get you guys talking at a dining room table. But I can promise you that we've been doing it for how many years now, and it really has drastically improved our family because we've done it. If we didn't do that, I am sure my wife and I wouldn't have the relationship with our kids that we have today. And so if I would have been stubborn all the way through and expected her to change based upon my beliefs, which were wrong, our family wouldn't be as good as it is today. So make decisions, not how it makes you feel, your self-esteem, but really what is best for the situation. And if you realize you're wrong, admit it. Admit it. Because if you make decisions based upon what you think is always what's going to build your self-esteem up, you're missing the big picture. As you guys know, a lot of you know, I have this YouTube channel, and I got to tell you right now, and I always read this first going into it, the hardest thing is those comments, right? You guys know those comments, right? Oh, man. And so my thought at one point in time is I could turn off the comments. You could turn off the comments, not hear anybody have to say anything. So I chose to leave them on. And once in a while, I get some negative comments. And so the thing is, if I base my self-esteem on what people say in these comments, if I base my self-esteem as far as always being right, I remember one of my last videos had someone say, "Oh, that was a total waste of my time." That kind of hurt a little bit. Like, ow, you know? But the reason that was important because they were somewhat right. I watched the video again. I go, I can see kind of how to see that. You know, I can see why they might say that. And so I'm taking that information, and if my goal is not to be right all the time, but my goal is to learn, and that's how my self-esteem is tied to, is for me learning, then I can grow. But if it's tied to always being right, you're never going to grow. So it all goes back to your self-esteem. And here's probably even a deeper question is, what is your worth? Let's try to put it that way. Your self-esteem is what you think do you think you're valuable? Do you think you're worthy? I remember growing up, when I was your age, I remember this so well. Actually, I was 18 years old. I remember this so well. I was 18 years old, and we had this park right behind our house. And I would go into this park almost every day. And I remember one time sitting on this bench in the park, and I was just saying, what's wrong with me? Why does anybody like me? I guess is a good way of saying it. I was far from being popular. I was very shy. And all I ever wanted, I kept saying to myself, all I ever want in my life is to find a girl that would like me. Because no girls like me. You know, that's all he is in 18. Find a girl that would like me. What's wrong with me? No girl, you know. And all I wanted is a family. Why can't I have a family? And I kept saying this over and over again. My worth was tied to having that. If your worth is tied to having that, then you're going to come up void. What you have to understand is your worth, you are worthy just who you are. We're all different, but you're worthy just of who you are. And that becomes so deep. I remember I saw, and I'm going to try to do this. It's not going to work out too well because I'm not as good as other people. But I remember I saw someone do this analogy once. They said, let me see, I got a $20 bill. I'm not sure if you guys seen this. But I remember this guy was on stage, and he had a $20 bill. And I'm not going to do it because I don't want to give you guys my money. But he asked somebody, hey, does anybody want this $20 bill? And almost everybody raised their hand. Of course they want a $20 bill. Because why do you want a $20 bill? Because it's worth how much money? $20. It's worth because it exists. It is here. That's what it's worth. He goes, wait a second. And so what he did is he basically put it on the ground. He started stomping on it and picked it up. He goes, who wants a $20 bill now? And almost everybody says, I do. Because why do you want it? I just stomped all over it. Because it's still worth what? $20. He goes, wait a second. And so now he stomped on it some more, picked it up, he crumbled it up like this, right? Does anybody still want it? Of course. And then I think the final thing he did is he basically took and he ripped it in half. Does anybody still want the $20 bill? Of course. Because you can still tape it together, right? So the idea is this, that this $20 bill, it could be stomped on, it could be ripped apart, it could be crumbled, it could be crushed, it could be destroyed, it could be ugly if you want to look at it, right? But it's still worth $20. That's us. We are going to go through life. I guarantee things are going to happen to you. Bad things, good things. Things are going to happen to you. There's going to be moments in your life you think, I am not worthy, I am not good enough. You know, why me? The answer is that we're all worthy. We're all worthy of being loved. We're all worthy of having a good life. We are all worthy just because of who we are. Doesn't mean we're always going to make the right decisions. But you got to understand, your value is not tied to what other people think about you. Your value is not tied to always being right. You're valuable just for being you. And if you really, really believe that, then you can let go of this having to be a right thing. and then you can definitely make better decisions in your life.
Thank you for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button or click on one of the other links.